Recording started. So in backup, we have different options, right? So configure file and folder backups. This is mostly related to storage account. Okay. Configure virtual machine backup. That is backup your virtual machine. Configure Azure monitoring. Configure Azure alerts. Configure log analytics and configure network watcher. And you have improved incident response for alerting and Azure. So uh, uh, let's first create a virtual machine and a storage account, right? Then only we'll able to perform backup, right? And then backup of virtual machine also. Let's quickly go to portal. I guess term I like it's pretty much easier. No need to elaborate, right? It's a backup. So there are two things. One is backup and one is replication. Backup will be in same region and replication will be in different region. Okay, so don't get confused about that. Okay. We have a resource group. Okay, okay, go to subscription. Mm. Please have more participation when I'm creating virtual machine. You can also say something, right? Azure user, then password.
Vikas, can you choose the Linux operating system?
Linux, we have a topic we
Okay.
can choose, but yeah, Linux we have an option. I don't want to merge both of them, but yeah, it will be good if we select Linux machine. Let's select a Linux machine. Ubuntu, we are okay, correct?
Okay.
So let's go with Ubuntu. So if you're selecting Linux machine, okay, um, rest all will be same. Whatever configuration you are creating for a Windows, it will be same for Linux. So Linux, it will give you one more option to validate. You can connect using SSH public key, okay, or you can connect using username and password. Okay, mostly in all the industry they will connect using SSH public key. Okay, or Active Directory user ID and password. They will not create a general admin user ID and password. Okay, so let's go with SSH key. Okay, so you can generate your own SSH key, or Microsoft will automatically create one for you. Okay, so generate a public key, or you can use existing key stored in Azure, like in Key Vault or somewhere, or you can use existing public key from your local. Okay, so there are three different options. We'll say generate a new key, and we will be using this. Okay, so we'll say backup hyphen Linux hyphen key. Okay. So let's change the name backup VM. Add like Linux. Okay, L is for Linux. So let's add that. This portion, if I zoom it, if you can see, we have two options: SSH key, okay, and then we have password and public. Okay, so Linux mostly will go with SSH. Here you will give the username. Here you have three options like generate a new key. With Azure will give you a new key, or you can use existing key stored in Azure. Like if it is stored in some key vault, you can select that key vault here. Okay, or you can see use existing from your local system. Okay, you can paste it here if you have in local. We'll say generate a new key and give a name to that key. Okay, backup VM. and just leave it like Linux, then public key. Okay, so in mount port, you can see here it is SSH, right? So it's Linux. So there are two differences. Rest all networking and all these things are okay. We are good with that. Okay. So fine. Let's go ahead and create this. I'm not going in more details. Okay. You can see if you are given a generate a new key, Microsoft will give you an option where you can download this key. Okay. So my key is downloaded. I will be using that while connecting to Linux machine. So yeah, my request is going through. Let's go to documentation fast. Okay. This goes to the benefits. So I'm not going through them for the backup. Okay. So we have one thing called backup center. Okay. We can install backup center. We can create that. We'll create that. Okay. The backup center is like single pane. From there you can manage all the backups. Okay. Then data source centric management is also there. You have connected experiment supported scenario. Will go through this data recovery service called. Okay. Right. So in this picture, you can see you can even configure backup from on-premises. That is, there is some file in your local system or even in your office. You can configure backup to Azure. Okay. So for that, you can see there is an agent which has been installed, right? Azure Backup Agent. Okay. So with the help of Azure Backup Agent, you can backup from your on-premises to Azure. Okay. So I'm not going to do anything with this. Let's continue. This machine must be created. Let's create a backup center, okay, in Azure. Virtual machine got created. We are seeing that there was something called backup center, right? So to monitor or manage all the backups, Azure has backup center, okay? So if you go to backup center, you can say backup instances, okay? There's lots of other things. It has like you can add a new backup, okay? Then data resource group or data location, data source type, you can say virtual machine is there. You can backup SQL VM, Azure files, Azure disk and all other things you can backup. Okay. And then you have backup job here. Okay. So backup center is basically to manage all your backups. Okay. If I'm going to backup, if I say okay, new backup, you have to select the data source type. Okay. What I wanted to backup, virtual machine or Azure files from storage account. Let's say we have created a virtual machine. We'll go with virtual machine. Okay. Then we have option called selective vault. So like key vault, we have recovery service vault or normally we have vault for the backup also. Okay. So you have to create a new vault if you don't have one. Okay. So you can see there is no vault here. Let's create one. Okay. Check config recovery service vault. So basically, this backup center is kind of your management portal. From there, you can manage your all the backups. But where the actual backup will be stored, that will be in recovery service vault. Okay, recovery service vault is kind of storage your. Okay. So this recovery service vault, in disaster recovery and data protection strategy keeps your business running and all those things. So yes, this is nothing but a storage where you can store your backups and recoveries. Okay. So if you are creating a backup, then service recovery vault should be in same location where we have created our resources. Let's say virtual machine or storage account. But if you are creating a site recovery, in that case, your service recovery vault has to be in different location. Okay. Okay. I guess I'm going a little bit fast. Let me explain. Okay. I will take 2 minutes. Okay, let's say this is my virtual machine. Okay. Uh, One, and this is my storage account. Okay, I will say this is my storage account. So let's first talk about virtual machine. Okay, so like our local laptop is not that much critical, so we don't think much about uh, taking backup of our laptop, right? But our mobile is little bit what you call critical to us, so we wanted to back up our contact details at least, right? And some photos to Google Photos, right? Even contact we wanted to back up to our Google, right? So how basically we can manage backup in case of office scenario, right? Let's say company they need backup of all the machines, right? Where they are running production application, right? So basically, what is backup? Let's understand that, right? Let's say just think that okay, my virtual machine is in East US location. Okay, so there is a location called East US, right? So what we will do? There are two type of backup, right? One is like we wanted to back up everything, including application and all those things, right? And one is like we just wanted to back up our virtual machine configuration, like operating system related backup, right? Whatever software we have installed and all those things, correct? So mostly when I'm talking about backup, we are talking about this operating system related to backup, whatever software you have installed and all those things, okay, in our backup. So mostly backup is like, okay, if my machine goes down, if my machine crashes, okay, those cases we will be using backup, okay. So let's say my virtual machine is running very good in EastUS, and suddenly there is some hardware failure or there is something else happened, and my virtual machine went down. There is no way I can turn on this virtual machine. So to basically overcome with those kind of scenarios, we what we used to take, we used to do some backup. Okay, so this backup is for that purpose only, so that we can recover steps. Okay, now what we'll do, we'll make a copy, or you can say kind of image or snapshot. Okay, and we will save this is as a backup. Okay, so this is my backup. How and all those things we'll see. But right now we are trying to do like, okay, we are maintaining a copy of this virtual machine. If something goes wrong, this virtual machine went down and we are unable to take it up, what we can do, we can create a new virtual machine using this backup. Okay, so
Because is it same like when we create the image of the virtual machine?
kind of, okay, but it is more than image. Okay, so you can see from backup we have created a new virtual machine. Okay, so that's why backup is important. If something goes wrong here, uh, and most important thing, backup will be kept in the same location. Okay, that is important thing to remember. So let's say I have a VM in EastUS, I will be having recovery service vault, okay, in the same location. Okay, so this recovery service vault basically will store this image or this backup file, and from that backup file you can create a new virtual machine. Okay, so that's it. It's a very small thing like backup. We all go through this in our daily life, right? We used to make multiple copy of even our physical documentation, so that if one goes missing, we can have another. That is also kind of backup, right? So yeah, in virtual machine, this is the backup. So we'll learn about different backup, how you want, how frequently you wanted to do the backup of your virtual machine. That is also one thing, right? Let's say if I'm trying to back up the operating system configuration, they are very rare. Once machine is stabilized, we are making changes to virtual machine. So usually company they used to take weekly backup for virtual machine, okay, or they will take monthly, okay, backup for the virtual machine. Okay, so let's say this is not a virtual machine. We wanted to take backup of SQL. Okay, I'm not taking backup of operating system, but I'm taking backup of SQL. Then this timeline will get reduced to minutes, and even it will go to like synchronous, like live backup. You added something, it will go to backup also. Okay, so if this is backup, so it depends what we are trying to backup. Based on that, we will be doing the frequency of backup. Okay, so difference between image and backup is like we will define some frequency, and in regular interval we will take backup of our virtual machine or data. Okay, so mostly SQL backup can be of 5 minutes, 15 minutes, okay, or even 30 minutes. Okay, it depends on the user criticality how we are designing. Okay, so you can see the difference. For virtual machine operating system we are giving weekly or monthly. For SQL we are giving 5 minutes, or even live backup also. That's why people have seen in few form, uh, it will give you like let's say you are filling a form, and internet goes or power goes and your machine got shut down, and when you log in back you will get the same data field populated already, right? How they are getting those data for you, that is kind of live backup or live migration, okay, or live cache, all those things. So SQL is backup is the most important backup for any company because it has the actual data for the application, right? So that's why they used to take very frequent backup for the SQL. Okay. So yeah, this is data, this is operating system. Clubbing both, we can use in application, right? So that was the backup of your virtual machine. Let's go ahead with our recovery service vault. So yes, recovery service vault is nothing but where you will store all your backup data. Okay. So just give the name backup vault. You are good with EastUS. Let's review and create. So you can see vault has nothing but in name, subscription and resource group and region. That's it. Okay. Let it get created. So from service recovery vault also you can create backups. Okay. So we will be not going through service recovery vault. New they have added backup center. Let's go with backup center. Okay. Once you go to backup center, you have option called create backup, right? So you can create backup. You can say select. Now I'm getting that service recovery vault here, right? Which we have just created. So select that. Data source type, what all source we have here? We have SQL, Azure Files, SAP HANA, Azure Disk, Azure Blob, Azure Database for Postgres Server, right? Let's continue. Okay, so you can see virtual machine has some policy subtype, right? A standard once a day backup. We have talked about it, right? Weekly backup. Then you have enhanced. If you want to take backup multiple times per day, in those cases, that will be cases. Let's go with a standard. And you can see there is something called create policy. Okay, or you can create a new policy. What is policy all about? Okay, this policy is about frequency, how frequently you wanted to take the backup. We can set it, or we can create a new policy. Okay, so you can see frequency here is daily or weekly. I am okay with weekly. Okay, then in weekly they will ask, okay, when you wanted to do the backup, Sunday, which day weekly you wanted to backup. So mostly what people will do, they will like Monday to Friday our office is going, so all the installation and all those things they will do on Monday to Friday, or even if there is some changes they will do on Sunday, right? So the best time to take backup is either Sunday night or Monday morning, right? So let's go with Monday morning 8 a.m. So let's say they have made some changes on weekend like Saturday Sunday. So Monday morning I will take a backup of my machine. So that is this policy all about. Every week Monday morning 8 a.m. Then time zone also you have to select. Okay, let's select +5. That is our India time zone, right? Okay, so you can see retain instant recovery snapshot, right? So how many days you wanted to retain that? You can keep maximum up to 5, minimum 1. Okay, this is called instant restore. So yeah, even for backup, Azure first take a snapshot and from that they will make a backup. So there are new features they are adding. With the help of snapshot, you can create a virtual machine very easily. Uh, that's why this instant resource. We are okay with two. Even we are okay with one. Sorry. So once you have take the backup, then you have to define here retention. Okay, till when you wanted to keep this backup. Okay, so those all settings are here for that. Okay, first, second, for every month you wanted to keep it for 60 months or you wanted to keep it for 12 months. All those things is here. Okay, which backup you wanted to keep for longer. Okay, or you can say last backup. So monthly, if I say Monday, there will be minimum four or maximum of five Monday in a month, right? So okay, last Monday of the month, the backup which we have selected. Okay, let's keep it for 12 months. Okay, like that. Okay, you can also keep the yearly backup. Okay, so the retention point is like, okay, how many backup point you are creating. Basically you can go to last month Monday, you can go to last month fourth Monday. So these all are like basically your backup points you are creating or keeping your backup points. Okay, so that's what it is. We're okay with like weekly backup Monday 8 a.m. and then monthly backup, monthly last backup we wanted to keep it for 12 months. Okay, and we'll say okay. Okay, let's keep it 5. If you're selecting monthly, you have to keep this minimum as 5. That's what Azure was saying. We have created a new policy. You can see the details here. Okay. Then here they are asking you to select the virtual machine which you wanted to back up. We have created this virtual machine. You can say okay, enable backup. So here you have options, right, to select OS disk only. It will not back up your data disk if you have selected this. Okay. So we are okay with backup disk also, like data disk also now, because you don't have any data disk. So backup and monitor is the easiest part we have in Azure, and documentation are also pretty easy. You can go through them and you can create the backup very easily. Okay. Okay. While this backup thing is happening, let's go to our virtual machine and try to connect to it. Right. So backup VM Linux. How to connect to a Linux virtual machine? You click on connect. You can click on SSH. Okay. So you can see you are getting this command line here, right? Or the easier way is go to your desktop and search for putty. If it is not there, install it. Okay. So once you install the putty, you will get this screen. Okay. Able to see my screen? I hope yes. And
Yes,
same
Vikas.
way, you can copy the IP address, paste it here. Okay. So I'm good. Then we have to select the public key. Okay. In authentication, we'll have the public key. Where is that public key? To 1 minute. And share on document to you people. Or you can go to this and install and configure your putty for Windows. Okay. So this is to download putty and configure putty. Okay. So we'll share this document, but I'm not looking for that. Okay. So yes, you have to give this like the IP address, go to connections, go to data, and here you will have option to okay, file authentication. Okay, let's go from the beginning. We will not. Mm. So there are two things in Azure Linux virtual machine or any kind of Linux virtual machine. Let's say go to virtual machine. You can directly run this on your local to connect to them. Okay, you can run this command also, or we are connecting using putty, so we'll just need the IP address. We'll copy that IP address. We'll go to putty. We'll paste it. And if you wanted to make this session persistent or you wanted to save this, I have to give like this. That there also you can give a name and you can save this setting. So next time if I am trying to connect to this virtual machine, it will be like we can connect from here directly. Okay. So once you have just given which machine you are trying to connect, you have to go to session or you can say connection. Okay, click on connection, then go to SSH, click on SSH, then go to authentication. In authentication, you remember we have downloaded one public key here, right? So you have to browse that, go to downloads. We have to create a public key from this, but it is public key, right? We will do that also. We'll connect to this virtual machine, Linux virtual machine next time. Okay. Again, we have some more work to do here. If you have to change this public key type, okay. This is a PEM file. It has to be changed to PPK. Okay. Let's go to backup settings. Must be completed till now. Linux will connect tomorrow. We have to do some other work also on that. Mm, yes. Go to home. So basically we have backup our backup VM Linux in backup vault. If I'm clicking on backup VM1, can I check backup here? Yes, I can check backup from virtual machine board also. Okay. So backup is enabled, but you can see there is no restore point available now. Okay, because initial backup has not been run. Let's go to backup center and check if we can do something. If we can backup just right away. So you can see Azure Virtual Machine there is one, but backup has not run for it. So let's go to backup. You have option to backup now. For the first time when you are configuring this backup, you can click on backup now if you wanted to backup right away. Or what you can do, you can backup. You can let it be as per your policy. So Monday morning 8 a.m. it will backup. Okay. So right now I'm just clicking on backup now so that we can see there is one restore points available. Okay. Even you can go to backup instances. There also you will see the virtual machine name. You can go to backup policy. So you can see we have created one backup policy, right? Just now default policy, I think we have changed that also. Or daily policy is there. So you can even create a new policy here based on your requirement. Okay. Policy is nothing but when to backup and for how many days you have to keep it. That's it. Okay. Vault is like where you wanted to store your backup things. Okay. So that is your service recovery vault. Backup job is, sorry. So you can see the backup job on demand. We have just configured backup. On demand backup is like right now it is running, right? So if I click on that, I'll able to see the progress. Okay. So you can say take snapshot is in progress. Transfer data to vault is not started. So first it will take a snapshot and then it will transfer data to service recovery vault. Then we will having a backup copy there, right? So it is a time taking job. It will take a snapshot of complete server and then it will transfer to vault. So it will take around 5-10 minutes or maybe more also. Depends on virtual machine configuration. Okay. It's taking time. Okay. You can see
Uh,
here also. Yes.
I'm thinking how many way we can see the backup? Either it is from the virtual machine board or it is from the backup center.
Yeah, you can also see
This
it
is
from service
from
recovery vault also. Yeah, you can see from like
mainly if we
backup
have the
vault also. Your voice is not clear, Ajit.
I'm saying that there is a four different ways through which we can see the all my backup which we created.
Yeah, there are different
Hello.
different ways. You can see from backup vault and yeah, there are so many options to see the same resource. So
Okay.
in Azure, anything we call as a resource, right? So yeah, you can see from backup center, you can see from virtual machine blade, you can see from service recovery vault blade also. So from here also you can go to backup, and from here you can see backup instances, backup item. You can go there and you can see from there also. Azure virtual machine, one backup is there, right?
Okay.
Yeah. You can see SQL in Azure Virtual Machine is here. Azure Storage File is here. DPM is like Data Protection Manager. Azure Backup Agent. In this case, if you're going Azure Backup Agent, you have to install a agent on your virtual machine, and then agent will take care of the backup. Okay, that agent will basically take snapshot of your machine and it will send it to backup or service recovery vault, right? So that is the agent type. Azure backup server, you can, like, if there is multiple server which you have to backup, you can create a backup server, and from backup server you can manage backup for all other servers. Okay, so that is your backup server. Different options are there. It's You can go through it and you can create this. Okay, again, backup policy, backup infrastructure, everything is like same. Backup is just about taking backup. Okay, you can see one is backup and one is site recovery, right? Site recovery is like, okay, your complete site is down. In that case, how you want it to recover it, right? That is your site recovery. Okay, so sorry, let's go to backup job and see if it is completed. Still it is in progress, so that's okay. Yeah, so from here only, you can go to overview, you can click on backup, you can select your resource, you can say I wanted to backup Azure files. I can select that. Data source type, I can select backup, then I can select the vault. I will say continue. I can add policy, right? Storage account, it will ask to select. We don't have any storage account, that's why we are unable to select anything, right? Then again, policy for storage account, same way. Everything is same, just policy difference will change. If it is equal, you can see for storage it is asking us daily or hourly backup, right? Because storage is data, correct? How frequent you want it to backup? Every 4 hours, or every 6 hours, every 8 hours, every 12 hours for storage backup, right? So you can see the difference in storage and virtual machine. So virtual machine was having daily and weekly, storage account is having daily and hourly, because it's data. We cannot lose data, correct? So that is your storage account kind of backup. If you select SQL, now let's see the, okay, it required a new vault. Okay,
Because backup policy
fine.
is only. Hello, and you are you able to see me? Oh, sorry, hear me?
You are
Hello,
breaking
Vikas.
up.
Am I audible to you, Vikas?
Yes, yes,
I'm saying that backup policy is a policy on
yes,
top
yes.
of
Go
which
ahead.
we can. Okay, I'm saying that. Are you able to hear me? Hello.
Backup policy is in set of instruction. Yes, yes, able to hear you.
Okay. I'm saying that backup policy is the set of rule through which we create the backup of our resources. Is it right?
Yes, yes, that's correct. That's correct. So it's like set of rule. We are giving some instruction to Azure when to take backup, for how long to keep it. Okay, nothing much. So
Okay.
yes, different services have different backup frequencies. So if you go to backup center, you click add backup, and then you can create some policies. Okay, So let's go to backup vault and try to create one more policy. We have seen storage account, we have seen virtual machine. I wanted to see for SQL. Okay, so let's go to home, recovery service vault. Click on backup, okay, and select SQL Server in Azure Virtual Machine. Okay, start ticker discovery. We'll not able to do that because we don't have a virtual machine. Let's get a new policy. We'll see. Okay, SQL Server in Azure Virtual Machine. Okay, let's go this. This way also correct. Let's add a new policy. So if you see for SQL Server in Azure Virtual Machine, you have like backup frequency every 2 hours, right? You can edit this, okay? Even you can select it for 15 minutes, okay? You can see the granular like backup for a SQL, 15 minutes, 30 minute, 1 hour, 2 hour. For a storage account, it was starting from 4 hours. For SQL, it is starting from 15 minutes. That's what I wanted to show you that based on criticality, we have backup frequency. Okay, so usually for storage account, we used to keep it 15 minutes if it is critical, or it is 2 hour if it is not that much critical. Okay, so you can select that. You can say okay. Then there is something called backup frequency. So daily 730 it will take one. Then retention of daily backup for 180 days. Retention of weekly backup for 104 days. 104 weeks, right? Retention of monthly is for 16 months, that is for 5 years, right? Retention of yearly backup is for 10 years. So this is different type of backup. Even you can edit that also, and you can make the changes here. Okay, for how many days you wanted to keep, when, where, and all those things. Okay. SQL backup compression, like okay, if you want to compress the data, that is what here, and nothing much in this policy. So no need to create this policy. Just I wanted to show you that frequency. Okay, for SQL it goes to 15 minutes. Rest all is same. Okay, so backup center. Let's check if backup job is completed. Still it in progress. So yeah, it will take some time. That's fine. Okay, anyone else has any other question on backup? Okay, if not, let me go to the virtual machine. Okay, okay. I will not. I'm not sure if we are able to complete the monitoring part today, but okay. So for any kind of monitoring or any resource monitoring, okay, or let's say every resource monitoring, you will have one tab in Azure called monitoring. Okay, it's monitoring tab. Okay, so this monitoring tab you can see you have insights, alerts, metrics, diagnostic logs, and connection monitoring workbook. Right. So these all have different options. Okay, so if you wanted to check some CPU and memory usage, you can go to matrices. Okay, you can see scope is like my virtual machine. This is a virtual machine host. What I wanted to monitor right now, we are doing the backup, right? So disk IO will be more. If you check on disk IO percentage, it's not populating anything. Maybe it has not stored. Let's check CPU credit consume. If you are getting something, you can see CPU was high here and then it came back here. We are okay with last 30 minutes. Let's apply. We wanted to see the IUPS consumed, right? We are okay with brace also. Let's delete this. IOPS consume is not coming. Let's do that. Data disk. No, seeing the OS disk IPs. Percentage CPU usage you can see, right? So from matrices you can see the CPU average and all those things. And you can add multiple things also. So if I'm going for this, you can see I've selected virtual machine. Then machine host type, it's a virtual machine host, right? Then metric, like what I wanted to see. Okay, Azure is providing so many details. Okay, data disk, OS disk, target IOPS, and all those things like data read write. When I say this IOPS, okay, and then you have a CPU, okay, and you have also some cache memory and all those things consumed. Okay, so those all things you can check here, whatever options you are having, and you can see if virtual machine is acting normally or CPU or memory usage is more. So CPU credit consumed is like around that much. Remaining, you can see it's always high. Remaining available memory bytes 500 MB is memory bytes available. We have selected 1 GB virtual machine, so 572 is available for us. That's why it is showing that much. So those all things we can check from this matrices board. Read bytes. So we can see disk read byte has been increased, right? It's like 2.4 MB per second. Why disk read byte is increased? Because we are trying to read from our virtual machine disk to create a backup, right? So you can see those parameters went up here, right? So I can add multiple metrics also. This read operation also, we can see that's normal. It's not high. Let's check this right. No. Inbound flow is no. Networking total, you can check the networking also. When disk was more, networking is also more, right? Because networking is for moving data from one place to another. So whenever anything goes wrong to your virtual machine, the virtual machine is up and running fine. Please come to metrics part and you can check uses, not just for the virtual machine, for any resources. You can check metrics for storage account also. You can check metric for any other resource also. Okay. So we stop here. Not able to continue this. So we'll continue tomorrow monitoring part. Okay. Let me stop here. Okay. Anyone has any
Has
question?
any question?
Yes, Akshay, go ahead.
Yes, Akshay, go ahead. Nothing as of now, sir.
Thank you. Tony, you have any question?
Yeah, because actually we will stop the virtual machine whenever uh, only Monday to Friday we are working means like particular time we will stop. No,
Mm-hmm.
like it like Saturday Sunday it won't be like working only. Then why like if there is a business house and they are working means they can itself view if there is any other thing like that. No.
Mm, not getting completely your question. If you can repeat once again. So you are saying like Monday to Friday they are working right on this virtual machine, so they can
Yeah,
see the monitoring by themselves. That's what you are saying.
yeah, monitoring by themselves. We are enabling the monitoring. Like they will receive like email something like notification if the virtual machine
Yes,
goes.
yes. Yeah, we will do that. Alerting part is pending. In monitoring, we will see how to enable a alert. So, like once you receive a alert, how you will check that you can do using metric, right?
Okay.
So, we'll see how we can configure a alert. We'll see that tomorrow. That is pending. Anything else, Tony, you have? Okay. Vishal, you have any question in the backup?
Yes, because actually, we are creating backup in the same location, no, as where is our resource.
Hmm.
Uh, can we move to another location? Uh, or in the case of any failure, or you may site failure or any disaster failure,
Mhm.
how can we retrieve our backup again?
So yes, backup is for quick recovery. Okay, it's not for so backup is, let's say something goes down, so we have a backup copy at same location, and we can recover very quickly. Okay, so two term is there, which is like high level term, but still like RTO is there and RPO is there, right? So RTO is like recovery time objective, and RPO is recovery point objective, right? So while we were setting the timeline in backup policy, uh, it is based on RTO and RPO. Recovery time objective is like when something goes down, let's say my application is down, how much time for us it will take to recover that application, or let's say keep that application up and running again. Okay, so that is like time, recovery time objective. To reduce the recovery time objective, what we used to do, we used to keep a backup copy in the same location, okay, if something goes down. So for disaster recovery, we have to plan for a, so disaster recovery we cannot do anything. My virtual machine goes down, my backup will also go down, right? Because my backup is also in same location. We cannot do anything with backup. In that case, we have to move to the site recovery, okay? And we have to back up our virtual machine, or we have to like turn on our virtual machine from the site recovery. So site recovery is a like bigger configuration where you will have a similar site up and running, or you can say in a standby mode in different location. Okay, if something goes wrong in one location, you can uh, activate your second location. That is kind of site recovery. Okay, we'll see if we can do the lab for that, but I doubt it's not required also, because they will not ask that much question on site recovery. Um, till backup we are fine, we will get work till backup. Site recovery, even I've not seen also till now that anyone has enabled on Azure. So yeah, we can use site recovery if you wanted to move your on-premises machine to Azure. That is one better option we have for the site recovery. Okay, even you can back up your on-premises virtual machine. You can enable site recovery for your on-premises virtual machine also. Okay, so these all things is possible using site recovery. So in the basic term, backup is in same location for the quick recovery. Site recovery, if say complete data center goes down, in that case we'll go with site recovery. Okay. Yeah. Ajit, you have anything?
Yes, Vikas. I have it out, but I have a question related to the load balancer.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask?
Yes, yes.
Uh, we do we mainly used to
Unable to hear you.
perform all type. We mainly used to perform to manage traffic from all type of scenario like inbound or outbound. I understand, but don't understand that clearly from the outbound how we manage the traffic through the outbound.
Mhm. Okay. So outbound traffic. Uh, let's say a scenario, you are trying to access your virtual machine public IP. In the backend, you have data and virtual like SQL, right? What will happen when you're trying to access in from the backend? You will get some what you call SQL data. You will get, right. So those data, how it will follow? It will follow in opposite direction, right? You are trying to access from front end to back end, but data flow from back end to front end, kind of, right? So there are some scenarios where users will be accessing from the backend, or backend server will try to access the front end. So those are the scenarios where you will say outbound traffic. Okay,
Because when the traffic
Mm,
come from the front end and pass
mm,
through the load balancer, and load balancer distribute the traffic between the all the balance pool, backup pool,
mhm,
backend pool,
mhm.
where the two term is mainly used in the load balancer, which it did, it is doing when it distribute the traffic in between the virtual machine of the backend pool. First one is the load balancing rule, and second is the health policy,
Yes.
health pro policy. There are
Mhm,
two terms which load balancer uses while we working with the load backend pool. These are
mhm.
the two terms. Uh,
Yes.
odd, sorry, I'm saying that when we talk about the odd one scenario,
Mhm,
to where we we will mainly use the load balancer
mhm.
to manage the outbound traffic.
Outbound traffic, what scenario you got for the outbound traffic? Did you got any scenario where you want to use outbound traffic, you want to balance outbound traffic? And what is basically
Uh,
outbound traffic? What do you understand from outbound traffic first?
when traffic come from the front end and in pass
That
through
is your
the load
inbound,
balance.
right? That is like inbound traffic, right? What is outbound traffic? What do you understand from outbound traffic?
uh, it's like the when we manage to the traffic manager.
See,
I think so.
don't go in.
I
Okay,
don't have any
don't go.
idea.
Don't go in that detail for outbound traffic. Okay, scenarios are very less. So let's say your virtual machine is trying to access another virtual machine. Okay, for that virtual machine, it will be your outbound traffic. Okay, so it's not in load balancer. You can configure like that. Okay, so that is a different scenario. Okay, load balancer you can just set up. You have seen only inbound traffic. You can set up how to redirect it. Okay, there is nothing called outbound. You can set as of now. Okay, you can try creating.
Uh, there is two way to apply the load balancer. Either it is the
Yes.
global load balancer and or it is
Yes,
in the
so
load
you
balancer.
will, if you are going for global and traffic manager and all those things, in those case scenarios, you will get some of the, okay, mostly it will be inbound traffic which you have to manage. Okay, if you are finding somewhere outbound, forget about it. Okay, don't go through that. Just read the inbound traffic. Okay, as of now.
Okay.
Once you learn completely the
Okay.
inbound, you will understand the outbound how it works. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else you have?
No, 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 Vikas.
No.
I will ask question tomorrow about the monitoring. I haven't read anything about the monitoring. I just
Yes,
know
yes, please go through it.
how. Okay.
What about your resume? Is it ready?
No, Vikas. I'm not spending spend our time on the making the resume. And I
That is
totally
the most
all the
important part.
time.
You have to
No,
create a
I know
resume.
that.
Yes, because see, our class only few topics are pending. We'll finish it off, then we will not have a even for that also. Okay. Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Please give some time for resume. For me, I can see the most important work for you is to create a resume first. Okay.
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 Can I make a resume through the same format which I saw in the previous week?
Any format is fine as long as you have all the content in that. I'm okay with any format. It's not like okay, my format is the best. It's never. It's like how you are mentioning your content. Okay, resume content is matter. What matter? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I can see Vivek and Pawan. Any question you people have for the backup? Okay. I don't see any response from Pawan. So backup is all these are like time taking job. Okay. If you are trying to like do the lab, it will take lots of time. I'm not going in those details, and even there will be very less questions related to backup and all. Okay, so you will get some scenarios where you have to configure the backup. You can take help of documentation. So I'm just trying to take you through if you come across any scenario where backup has to be taken, and if they are asking you to take backup or they are asking your input related to backup, you will able to speak. Okay, so Don't break your head more. Okay, try to go through some documentation. Remember a few terms. Okay, like backup policy, retention policies, RPO, what it is. Okay, and just write it down. Just get one small page of the backup. Okay, what all options? If I'm going like for a backup, you can go through backup center. You need a service recovery vault for backup. Okay, so remember these small things. If you're able to answer this much, that is more than enough. Okay, so even till now I have also not configured a single backup. Okay, so in Azure, basically when I'm saying backup, okay, so it's okay to have knowledge on the backup and site recovery, what it is all about. But yes, just go through it and take one or two mm, pages note on backup, an important term. You can explain them, and that's it. That will be more than enough. Okay, so no need to like break your head. Okay, why backup? How backup? Where backup and all those things. But just yes, learn the basic terms and just explain that. Okay, so okay, let's stop here. We'll
Because
meet tomorrow. Yes,
I have a question, but it is related to the Terraform.
yes,
I
sir.
am not able to perform the lab. Every time I'm getting when I'm trying to perform the lab of Terraform, when I am getting when I'm getting stuck on the time of the when I what we call when we can configure the no, it's not configuration.
Okay, we'll go through Terraform once again. That's what we decided in the start of class, right? Terraform we'll go through once again. So I will start explaining from the beginning. Okay, Terraform. Don't worry about that. Okay,
Okay,
how to operate.
okay,
Okay. Thank you. We'll stop here. Okay, we'll meet tomorrow.
okay. Thank you.
Here we go.